It is Monday, the 31st of March, 2025, and this is your weekly Mining Disrupt news surge. Speaking of Mining Disrupt, I just got back from the expo that took place in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It was a blast. It was hands down the most organized, most well-run, most enjoyable event of this type that I have ever been to. It was phenomenal. I was aware, being backstage, I heard snippets of some conversations that has me more bullish than ever. Let me tell you what, there are things coming down the pipelines that it's going to make your head spin. I'm going to get into a little bit of that as much as I can share, but first, remember, this is for entertainment and education purposes only. This is not where you come for financial advice. Also, please like, subscribe, right down there. You know the deal. You've heard it 1,000 times on other YouTube channels. Bell notifications, the whole deal. Comment if you like what we're doing here. And if you're interested in partnering with us as a sponsor, reach out here or the Mining Disrupt website. Let's jump right over to the numbers. We're looking at a price of 83,000 and change. The block height is over 89,000. We've got low fees if you want to move things around on chain. Unconfirmed blocks are under 1,000 right now, so your transaction is going to get added super fast. Hash rate is, I think that might be an all-time high. If not, it's really close. It is absolutely skyrocketed in the past 6 months. Blocks are flying in, and I think everything is just moving absolutely as good as it possibly could. All right, so some of these conversations that I heard when I was backstage were from people that are major players in the industry. I'm talking people that are moving around tens, if not hundreds of millions, or in some cases more of money. This thing, that thing. And I wasn't in on these conversations, but being that I was working the stage and doing things, I heard a little snippet here. It was little things there, just little pieces, a sentence, maybe a few words here, nods, a look, a shake of the hand. And one of those things that I heard, I'm not going to say who it was from, but if I revealed the name, you would be aware of this person, a prominent Bitcoiner, talking about the speed at which things are going to change. I'm going to talk more about that in a second, but let's jump over to this tweet because it does tie in. Here's LP Capital Cheese saying, yeah man, boomers captured real estate and rigged the market, but millennials and younger generations have Bitcoin. The greatest asset of all time, and boomers don't give a damn about it. Use information asymmetry to your advantage and stop complaining about what boomers did. That information asymmetry is a major deal. Now, I don't know if this is the case or not because I wasn't part of the conversations, but when you hear it, it makes a lot of sense. The reason, apparently, that Trump started going on podcasts, major podcasts, all kinds of like Theo Vaughn and Joe Rogan, big podcasts, was because of his son, Barron. Barron, apparently, is aware of the influence, the impact, the views, and the reach that podcasts get. And he said, hey, Dad, you got to get in front of these people. We're talking tens of millions of people watching. We're talking about major podcasts. You got to get on them. And his dad went, all right, sure. The reason I mention this is because that's how change happens. The younger generation is going to start talking to the older generation, and the older generation is going to go, sure, why not? This is true of a lot of things, and it's definitely true of Bitcoin. Now, on that note, there's another aspect to this right here, and this one is coming from the Bitcoin therapist. He says, why I am buying GameStop, GME. 1. Clear Bitcoin treasury strategy. 2. Ryan Cohen's track record. 3. Over $4 billion sitting in cash. 4. Die-hard hodler base. 5. Signal to other companies. That's a major one. We're going to come back to that in a second. 6. Potential for outsized returns. And 7. Possible rebranding / business model. Remember what I was just saying about Barron Trump talking to his dad, the younger generation talking to the older generation, the millennials, the zoomers, the zingers, the bingers, whatever they're called these days, talking to their parents, grandparents. Take this and put it into your brain sack and mull it around, shake it around, see how it hits you. Bo Hines, the guy, the strategy guy that I talked about last week, he is one of the key architects in the whole crypto Bitcoin infrastructure program for Trump. He's only 29 years old. These people are talking. They are getting into those positions. Things are happening. Where point 5 ties into this is that signal to other companies? We're going to see a tweet here in a minute that shows you how big of a signal that is. And here's James Lavish saying, it's not that GME is adding Bitcoin to its treasury, it's that GME has become the next company to realize the value of adding Bitcoin to its treasury. The nuance matters. Peruvian Bull, right on the heels of that, saying, seeing the armchair analysts come out on this app lecturing us about GameStop and Bitcoin is absolutely hilarious. The least informed are the most confident. Here's Jan 3, headed by Samson Mao, talking about that very thing. Hyper-Bitcoinization is inevitable. There's no rush. Correct. You can sit back and relax if you want to, or, and this is really important, you can take advantage of what's coming down the pipeline, and there are some really key ways to do that. Now, remember what I was just talking about? Positioning yourself and all. Look, the writing's on the wall. Look at this. Look at this chart. This insane chart. Here's Eric Weiss saying, this might be the most overlooked story on Wall Street in the last 4.5 years. How is this not front page news? Have you seen a single mainstream outlet cover it? Bitcoin to the moon. Okay, look at this. MSTR, 2,526%. Next closest isn't even half of that. It's like a third of that. It's about a third at 898%. That's Nvidia. And then you've got Bitcoin doing really well. Then you've got Tesla, and then it's just all kind of downhill from there. MicroStrategy is showing people what they can do. And then you're going to get GameStop. Do you remember what it was like a few years ago when GameStop was all over the news and how much that was being talked about? Now imagine when in that conversation all over mainstream media is the word Bitcoin, 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 and this happened because of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is what allowed this to happen. Bitcoin. You just see that word over and over and over, and people are going, wait a minute. Do you mean that Bitcoin thing that I thought was going to die? I thought it was boiling the ocean. It's not doing any of that? Oh, snap. Wait a minute. Wait. You mean I don't have to have all these properties and these rental properties that I have to maintain and hope that I've got good tenants, and wait, I don't have to do all that upkeep and maintenance, and I don't have to pay all this taxes. I can just hold it in my head if I want to? Billions of dollars? Oh, that seems like a really good idea. And these people are going to realize, and once they realize, that dam will blow open. This is what I'm talking about. Michael Saylor was talking to Ryan Cohen. There's that picture of him standing and says, welcome to Team Bitcoin. They talked to him about a month ago. Now they're adding Bitcoin to the balance sheet. The network effect is happening in real time. And once enough nodes, if you will, people connect and realize what's going on here, it'll be like a brain turning on, but across the entire world. This is where the Mining Disrupt Expo comes into play. If you are at the Mining Disrupt Expo, you can position yourself to take advantage of this in what ways make sense to you. That is what I'm trying to say here. That is my entire point to this week, is that you've got to be in the right position, because when these seismic, global, event-shaping changes come down the line, if you're on the sidelines, I guess you're just watching it all play out. But if you're in the game because you know the other players, you're set. Generationally set is what you will be. And that only happens if you've made those connections. And the Mining Disrupt Expo is exactly the perfect kind of place to make those connections. Until next week.